All right, ladies and gentlemen, get some good music going. Feel the vibes as you edit your photos. Get in the zone. Awesome seeing you all today. So I just picked out Alexa volume level 3. Alexa, volume level 3. All right, so I'm gonna go through some edits here and show you guys how I might edit these photos. So this is what I do for a quick turnaround. Usually I say 10 to 20, but I end up doing like 50. I kind of take a look at what I've got here so you can see out of our selects, we have establishing shots, we have registration, we have details, we have different angles, people smiling, group photos, another detail shot. These are the pole cam shots. Really important to get those wide ones. Tights of people smiling. This I just think is like, different lighting scenario, and different people and poses that we got throughout the day, which is great. This was the competition with the pole from the back. Great shot. And then we saw her in the competition, so I thought this would be a good shot to include. We know she's someone that they'll tag in the photos, and that'll boost their social media and whatnot. So these are the images. We're gonna just edit real quick. I can already see that there's like a yellow kind of cast on these photos, so I kind of know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna do these later because they're the outdoor images, but I'll probably start with a photo from inside that I like. So I have my own presets that I make, but I'll show you like how I kind of make a preset. Maybe this one looks pretty decent. So I'm gonna go through each one here. First, I put the exposure, try to get it to a place that I like. I like things bright with a lot of blacks and shadows. So I will keep pushing this exposure and highlights and keep crushing my blacks, and because that and I will never use contrast. I feel like it destroys an image. So just my recommendation is never touch contrast. And I just want things as bright as possible while also keeping those blacks and shadows pretty dark, because I believe it creates a richness to photos, and it actually brings out color a lot more as well. So I shoot on a pretty flat profile, which means I don't really add, when I'm in camera, I reduce the saturation and the sharpness so I can add it later. And I only really use vibrance. I don't touch saturation. I think it's just overkill. Maybe we'll do it just a little bit here. But vibrance increases the saturations of the less saturated colors, or the less popular colors in the image. So it kind of balances out the saturation. Now, before pushing this too far with the exposure, I also put a radial gradient on the subject matter and go even more on the exposure here. So you see, and then I put some blacks in again. So without this, you can see the difference of how it keeps brightening it up, almost as if like I put a flash or something like that. Now I'm gonna start messing with the white balance a little bit. I'm gonna bring it kind of blue, but not too blue, otherwise it doesn't look natural. We just also don't want it too orange. And then I'll make sure my tint looks right. This is just a guessing game with your eyes to what you think feels right. Now, for some more advanced color grading, I go into the tone curve, or I go into the HSL. So yellow and orange are usually the biggest culprits of a event image that start to kind of make it look yellowy and washy. So you can simply reduce the saturation of the yellow. It also kind of starts to lose those blacks a little bit, so it kind of bring them even deeper. And that's one way to do it. I'm going to undo those because you start to also lose skin color when you touch oranges and yellows. So now with the advanced masks, I'll create a mask, select the background, and within that mask, I'll select a color, maybe this yellow over here, and then I will start to reduce that. So now it doesn't touch the skin tones and doesn't look as yellow. Maybe I'll increase the luminance. Okay. So now we have an image I'm pretty happy with. Blues also start to get a little too saturated, in my opinion, on all just in general when you're shooting on a camera, and I think it is just very distracting. So I sometimes also reduce the blues. Okay, I still think this needs more blacks to increase the richness of the photo. And then if I want to go into these curves, the color curves, I'm not suggesting you guys do this, but light touches in this curve can give you like a custom color grade. And I find it really useful to get kind of like exactly your camera's kind of seeing a lot of different colors and mixing them up based on the environment and the white balance. So this kind of gets it very, very specific, and you can see with it and without it. So this is with that color grade, very, very minor adjustments, but for me, it looks really good. And that's without the color grade. You have more of that yellow cast again. So it gives you control of the shadows and the highlights for each of these color curves. Okay, so that's pretty good. I'm gonna go with this as a final image. I know we had an ISO of 800, so it might be a little noisy. Let's look at one of their faces. I don't usually have to touch this stuff, but let's reduce the noise, smooth out this image a little bit, and then we'll just sharpen it. Okay, beautiful. Great. Now, this is like, now I've created my own preset for the Austin Coffee Festival. I'm not going to give you this because you guys got to figure it out for yourself, but I'm going to even include the masks for the exhibitors. Okay, now I have my own mask, and I can apply this mask. I have my own preset now, so I can just do the same thing and just copy those settings or go to my preset right here. So there's my preset. It's a little dark, but these, your own custom presets are going to work way better than trying to use someone else's presets. Every image is different. Every environment is different. Presets basically are, have to be customized to every environment. So that's pretty cool. I already just like that image. It looks a little red. Maybe I can adjust my reds here, and greens. Okay, that looks a little bit more natural. So this is again advanced stuff, but I'll touch the color curve slightly for each photo as well. Without the curves, that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like with the curves. So you see, like, I really think you can get really fancy with that. So if I go back to the image of the Medici sign the group photo. Okay. I might just go And let's see, I'll do an object brush, and I'm gonna just get this Medici sign in the background. And oh, Lightroom with artificial intelligence is so cool. And I'm gonna just bring those blacks down. And now that sign looks really rich. If you want, you can increase the saturation. Don't go crazy. But this image is looking really powerful now. And then this, you know, without that brush or that object thing, look how rich. Oh my god. Oh my god, that's amazing. Woof. Okay. So those are small details. I'm creating a base edit first, which I applied to all the images, and then I'll do object selection to really go in and select some things, make them look good. We can even, like, this is overkill, but you know, I could select all of these little things and do the same thing, make them like kind of cool, but we don't have to do that. That's crazy. Okay. Next image. So now, like I said, we have pretty much a base edit for the expo hall. I can start syncing these settings. I missed the mask. I'm going to sync the masks. This guy was really great. I think we shot him with flash on this one. It's applying those masks for me. Okay, pretty good. Again, maybe I'll select that background sign, make it look a little richer. And when you use like the black slider, you know, like I don't want to increase the saturation. I want to deepen the blacks. Blacks bring out color, and color gives your image like better quality. I think blacks are the best thing to increase quality of an image. Okay, pretty good. I like that. We shot that with flash, but you know, you don't always need flash, as we saw. These are shot with the 50mm. So let's copy those settings. And where was that image? Oh, okay. So didn't work for this one. Obviously, like, we have a lot of issues here with the color. So I'm going to go back to my white balance. I'm going to do it as it was shot. And my blacks I'm too bright now. So I'm going to bring this down. But it looks like it's more like the highlights that are too bright. So let's bring down the highlights a little bit, but not too much. I love highlights. Okay, crop in, make sure we're getting them. And that's pretty good. I think we're a little too bright. So I'm gonna go in again and reduce those highlights. And then I'm gonna go back to my mask here and just increase them a little bit. And then I'm gonna reduce the highlights of the background again. And then go back to this mask that I had, increase that. So I want them to be the focus of the image. And they look pretty good. Still looks a little intense. Don't like the color. I think it's the tint, and then it might be a little bit of this. Starting to look better. The skin tones are starting to look more natural. Yeah, getting there. And then this is the blue curve, which is going to change the yellows a lot. Okay. I think that's pretty good. So that's 50mm without the flash. Again, we know that these people are fun, and someone that is important in the festival. She was in the competition. Then if we go into some detail shots, like, this guy was pretty cool, but no, we'll have to edit that later. Detail shots, and let's do a wide shot. So this is one of the wide shots. These are pretty much always going to be a little crooked, so you got to straighten them out. Go back to my preset, and highlights are out of control. So I got to remove these masks. I know they're not necessary. I'm going to start fresh with these ones. And I'm going to turn off my curves for now. I can't turn it off, whatever. All right, starting fresh. So as shot on the white balance, looks like the white balance is pretty good. I'm going to increase the exposure. That's where I start almost every time. I'm going to deepen those blacks. That's where I start almost every time. And with conferences, you're going to have a lot of blown out highlights. So with a wide shot, I usually start to bring down the highlights a little bit and start to create like a kind of an even image. Now the white balance starts to change a little bit too as I bring down those highlights. It starts to feel a little yellow. So this, you can see how I like start to adjust things. Go into my curves, see if I can find something I like here. Greens. Bring these back up. And blues. Okay, not bad. Think we need to do shadows more than blacks here. Yeah, okay, we're starting to look good. Yeah, so that's how we make things pop. I don't touch exposure. I just increase, or contrast. I increase the exposure. You can decrease the highlights, but that's only when things are like kind of really too bright everywhere. And I'm fine with this. We got to find our noise because, oh, that's already done. So, okay, that looks good. Now that's going to also work for pretty much every single wide shot. So I'm going to select all my wide shots and I'm going to sync them up. Okay, this is that wide shot before and after, and I can see it's a little off on the white balance and the exposure, but that's pretty good. Love it. Okay, and what else? So we're looking pretty good. I like this. Let's see what this looks like. Oof. That's our color grade that we already did. I'm gonna remove this weird yellow mask that we created earlier. I like to create these radial masks because they kind of make like a natural vignette, but you kind of want to make sure it's focused on what you want it to focus on. Just draws people's attention even more. Okay, so this is when there's not a human in the photo, I might go wild with like different sliders and things. It's starting to already look too crazy, so I should not have done that, but just trying to find the right stuff here. Yep. Okay, that looks good. I can mess with this a little bit, but I think we're okay. I want these yellows and these reds to pop. So what I'm gonna do, and remember I had my blue saturation down on those other images, so I'm gonna bring that back because we like that. I like to deepen my reds and then increase their saturation to kind of, I don't know why, I just like it. I like a deeper red than instead of like a bright red, so that's I do that pretty often. And then these yellows, I might do the same thing or the opposite. So I'm creating contrast between the yellow and the red right now by deepening the red and kind of increasing the yellow, and that's fun to me. But, you know, do it however you want. I think these blues can come back a little bit more. Okay. So that's a good detail shot. We have these cool location shots. And I think with landscape, there's a lot of different exposures going on. So, you know, we have a yellow lighting here, like a shadow light here. Then we have a white blue light here. And then we have overexposed and underexposed. So you can increase shadows to start and the overall exposure. But with these new masks by the AI in Lightroom, it's pretty crazy. So I'm gonna see if it can select this area. Okay, I'm gonna add in these objects. Let's see if it selects the cityscape. Okay, we have pretty much just the cityscape selected, so I'm gonna reduce those because I'm gonna increase the image overall. And everything is too blue, so just bring it up with some, warm it up, you know? And everything is going to be too blue, in my opinion, when you're doing landscapes. And I'll just reduce those blues almost completely. And we have a lot of orange here. Maybe these greens could come down. I don't know. Don't want to get too funky with this. And then I'm going to take a brush in this area. And I don't like how yellow that is. Maybe I can do the color picker, find that orange, decrease the saturation, something like that. Find these reds or something. Ugh, looking kind of rough. Maybe I'll bring it more blue again. Or maybe I'll just create like some framing instead with this image. Okay. I'm going to my color curves now. Looking kind of interesting. Blues. Okay, I'm obviously not the best landscape editor, but I'm gonna bring those blues in with the curve here, and then in the shadows I'm gonna kind of reduce them so that we have like yellow and green action, yellow and blue. Okay. Okay, that's not terrible. I mean, it's just an establishing shot. It's a really tough exposure situation. I actually like this composition really like a lot, using the framing. She's here. But again, that background is going to be super blue. So if we can, we're going to select the city and see if we can just make those, warm it up a little bit. There it is. Much better. Yeah. Okay. Let's play with these shadows and these blacks a little bit. I'm going to go back into that cityscape and increase some of the blacks and the exposure to make it pop a little bit more. Ooh, looking good. Look at that. Much better. Okay, I can pretty much stop there. I can see that these reds might want to get a little different vibe here. Greens. Okay. And with these curves, you just kind of play around. I mean, you're just getting it to what you like. Okay, that's pretty cool. I like this shot. But, you know, it doesn't say much about the Austin Coffee Festival, but it's pretty. I like it. So I'm just going to edit it. So that should help with a general idea of how these photos should be edited. So just, I would say, like, try to get each image to your liking, like each style of image, and then yeah, you'll be able to do something cool. Like with details like this, I might take a brush and increase like some clarity on this stuff. And then I might even increase the exposure just so your eye goes into that direction, you know? That's how you trick people's eyes. Let's see what this different one comes out to. So you could have shot it like that, or you could have shot for the sign. I actually like some of these presets that I had. It's kind of cool from other conferences and stuff. Whatever. Okay. I think everyone gets the idea here. And then this was a detail shot. So I already have my detail shot edit from here. I'm going to sync that. And now this white balance is way off. Way off. It's a little too intense. So I would probably flip this photo vertical, and maybe the client wants something like that. I'm not sure. Not a compelling shot, but so these are my favorites. You know, I will continue to edit these for the client, but this is what, you know, I thought were compelling shots. Having people pose was a good vibe. So she's looking good, but that poster's looking flat. We're definitely gonna do our magic on this. Blacks. We don't have to increase the exposure because it's overexposed. So now we have that menu, or that flyer looks great. That's without that object mask. That's with it. So those little details will really make things look much better. And that's about it. You know, sometimes I won't use my preset. Maybe I'll just start editing it by myself and see what I come up with. Again, I go with my radial gradient. Increase the exposure, decrease the blacks, and you know, get people's eyes to focus where I want them to. That's a much better detail shot than just the regular this one. You know, people's hands, and they let them know that there's action. And oh, this was cool. I love this smoke and everything. Looks like a little more cinematic, and maybe there's like a cool thing that we can do here, but I don't know. That's pretty much it. So yeah. So I'm going to send these off to the client, those ones that I just edited. And I'm going to, create a pixie set gallery for them. I mean, all these photos are great. I would edit all of these right now, but I have to go. So this is great. I'm going to just send these. This one's cool. 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 All right. Export. And I have a full res preset, but it's basically like, don't limit your file sizes. Shoot JPEG, highest quality. You don't have to resize anything. That's pretty much it. All right. See ya.